Really quick, reason why there weren't any videos is because my iMovie wasn't working and we finally fixed it, I think. I still don't know what to do. And I'm using the MAC Face and Body in C5. Morphe brush, it's just a really thick round top. For my blemishes, I'm using the Studio Finish Concealer in NC42. And I'm just going to use the same brush. And with that, I like to tap it because it just completely blurs it out and it blends it a little bit easier. Urban Decay one. Is this dried out? Oh no, there's still some in there. For this look, I'm going to go with my Nude Tude palette, which I depotted into one of these little baby Z palettes. So I don't know the names of the colors. Matte brown, and it's the only matte brown in the palette. And I'm using this with a fluffy brush on my upper crease as a transition. I'm gonna do a version of like the Kim Kardashian makeup that I did for Halloween. If you're not familiar with that, I posted it on my Instagram. There's a few pictures of that. On the lid, she kept it very shimmery in this one look that I was doing, so I'm going to use the pink in that palette, not the glittery one, but the more matte, less shiny one. I'm kind of keeping that on the inner, and then keeping it up, and then I'm just going to use a fluffy brush that's clean, just to blend the edge. And then with the dark brown, this one right here, it's kind of like a maroon almost. It almost looks like beauty marked, but it's a little bit nicer. I'm putting that on my outer crease. And then I'm going to bring it up like a little V that's elongated. With a liquid eyeliner, I'm going to very, very closely use that to guide on my eyes. Nothing crazy, but I am going to bring it all the way in. This is the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in Sand Sable in 20, and then I'm also going to use the Prep and Prime in Bright Forecast. So obviously right underneath the eye. And I don't normally do this on a daily basis. This is just kind of like what I did that night, which made it really, really fun. Beauty blender. This one's actually dry. I actually accidentally did that when I was on vacation and it just worked really well, so I didn't really feel the need to wet it. So to set my makeup, I've been using the Rimmel Sta Matte, and this is a transparent one. It does have a hint of color, but I usually kind of wipe it away with bronzer, so it doesn't really show up too much for me, but I do use it to set the under eye. The eyebrows were, I think, the biggest transformation to make it look like her. She has very, very, hers aren't as arched as mine, and they seem longer. They're very kind of like square, like rectangular like. They don't taper in too hard. So that's what I'm gonna do here. But they are dark throughout the entire brow. For lashes, I'm using Red Cherry 415, which look 90 here. Park Avenue Princess bronzer by Tarte. And first I'm using that with just like a fluffier brush. And then with the sleek bronzer in medium, I'm using that to target it with a much more dense brush. And like, this was all about the illusion, so it's not meant to look natural, it's not meant to look wearable. But this is where like that chisel comes into play. So I kind of created cuts that are kind of there on me, but they're not as defined. And I brought it up a little bit higher. So it now looks like a shit stain. And then she has this like very deep impression. So that's where your beauty blender would have a little bit of product. Take that along the very edge, and that helps to cut it a little bit harder. I'm going to take just a fluffy brush and brush throughout, just to try to soften some lines up. And then in that same palette, I'm using this peach blush, which I used the day of. It looks crazy right now, but that's how I did it, and it looked really weird. But there were dim lights everywhere, so I didn't care. But that's kind of how I did it. And I just put a very small amount of lip gloss in the very center of my lips. Oh my god, I forgot the most important part. Hello, goodbye. The shimmer. I laid it on, man. I also used Nars Albotross. And hopefully you guys like this video. I haven't been back in a long time, so I'm a little rusty, that's for sure. But if you guys have any ideas, let me know. If you want me to recreate something, I know somebody asked me about a 1950s makeup, so I'm going to try to do that too. But if there's other ideas that you're thinking of or that you want me to do, put them down in the comments section. Bye guys.